Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. There's a lot of talk nowadays about revising the history and how some interests are trying to rewrite history. Well, I would have to remind those people that the subject of history, the science of history, the social science of history, is not a dead science, but it's a living one. Why? Because you still find information. And then you adjust, you add it to the information you had. Therefore, it's not dead and it's settled. There are, I think, just a few, I would say, subjects or historical events that are settled, like the Second World War ended. But when you say, okay, it started because of this, you might find information, why, what were the reasons, and it's settled for that time. And then maybe you find something else, you put it over there, you adjust if that, helps adjusting. So yes, that's revising history. But revising history nowadays, it has a negative connotation because they think they try to forge it. Well, I'm not talking about forging right now, which I think this article tries to do. We have an article here from Russia Today, and the Russians are reporting that Ukraine, or the guys in charge of Ukraine, dismantle a monument of Yuri Gagarin. So Yuri Gagarin was a Soviet astronaut who was the first human being in space. He represented a human achievement in the first place. Our achievement as humans, we were capable. Then if you want to narrow it down, yes, he was a male. Yes, he was a Russian. Yes, he was a Soviet in Soviet Union. Yes, he was this. And then you can go to, his shoe size or sexual orientation and all that. So the Ukrainians I think it's been for some years already, Ukraine tries to distance itself from the Soviet Union. And you can't do that because you like it or not, I'm talking about the Ukrainians, you were part of Soviet Union. You had your achievements inside Soviet Union, as Moldovans had, as Georgians had, as the people from Kazakhstan, Armenians, all they were in this Soviet Union. It was not Russian Union, it was Soviet Union. Russia was the biggest part. You might say, well, it was the most important. I do not think so. To a certain extent it was, but as leadership, look at the leaders of the Bolsheviks, and you're going to find not too many Russians. You're going to find other people over there, including, if you want to you go to Lenin, start with Lenin, go to Trotsky, go to Stalin, and so on. You're going to find a lot of leaders, bad people. They were not necessarily Russians. They were Russians too. So my point here is that Ukraine tries to break away from its past, interpreting it differently. They dismantle a monument of this guy. I think this is not Russophobia, xenophobia, Russophobia, stupidophobia, I think it is. They dismantled all kinds of monuments of the Soviet Union's victory against the German invaders. You are part of Soviet Union, you like it or not, but they say no. Then they made the next step, the Ukrainians, the guys in charge, saying that, recognizing the Holodomor as a genocide, which it was. It was. But it was not conducted by the Russians, it was by a Georgian with his friends. Just look around and see who were in charge of the Holodomor. And they tried to point it not on Soviet Union, because they were part of the Soviet Union. Unfortunately, they were at a receiving end, which was horrible. But they eventually would steer it from Soviet Union, blaming the Soviet Union, to guess whom? Russia, obviously. Even though it was Stalin in charge, it was Khrushchev, it was Kaganovich, there were other people involved over there. So this article, let me show you the article from Russia Today. I think this is xenophobia. If you want to use Russophobia, I don't care. It's just because he is a Russian. Not Soviet, a Russian. Wasn't this an achievement? I mean, you could have this monument in the United States of America or all over the globe. It's the first achievement of this kind of the mankind. Anyway, this is where stupidity goes, and hatred. So it's part monument to first man in space dismantled in Kiev. It's part of a long-running Ukrainian campaign targeting Soviet and Russia-related landmarks. A bust honoring Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, who was the first man in space, has been taken down in Kiev, local media reported on Monday, citing witnesses and pictures released on social media. So I understand. However you you look at this, this is awful. But let's see a little bit something here, because I have more than this. These are the guys. You see this guy? By Vladimir Lenin. His name was Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov. Okay, better known as Lenin, a Russian lawyer. Well, a lot of people contradict that and say, well, wait a second about Mr. Ulyanov. And then you have another guy in charge of this. Why? Because I'm going to go to this point. Ukrainian War of Independence. They fought a war of independence after 1917. In 1921, they were done. Okay, they were done. So who were in charge then? As I said, one was Ulyanov, and the other one was Mr. Bronstein. You see Mr. Bronstein? Oops, my bad. Trotsky. So Lev Davidovich Bronstein, okay, he was in charge of, and he created the Red Army. He created the Red Army, this person right here. And he created the Red Army in 1918. It's somewhere over here, under, Lenin's supervision. And then we go back here to Ukrainian War of Independence, which was 17 to 1921, Red Army. So what happened here? You see here? That's Lenin dispatched the war ensured soon after October Revolution, when Lenin, the guy Ulyanov, dispatched the Antonov expeditionary group to Ukraine and southern Russia, right? So, expeditionary group. So let's see who this Antonov is, shall we? And brace yourselves. Mr. Antonov, he was of Ukrainian ethnicity. Unbelievable, no? But you say, well, they're criminals and all that. So this guy was dispatched with the army by Trotsky, Bronstein, and by Ulyanov to take care of, let's go back here, these guys. All right, so now that we know a little bit, there's more complicated than that. I picked on this one just to show you that this was dispatched by the Bolsheviks, this Ukrainian. Now you can you might not like it, but and I have a little feeling that this Antonov has some other things as well, not only his ethnicity, but I don't have any evidence. Political career, very good. Here he is, Mr. Antonov. So anyway, going back to the bust of Yuri Gagarin, I think, why would you do that? I mean, what could you take out of it? And now, why do you take this human being, which he, after all, we are proud of himself, proud of him, as we are proud of, the, what's his name, Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and all those, the other ones that went on the moon. We're all happy about it. We are celebrating their achievement, the United States' achievement. These guys are at war, Ukraine, with Russia, and they take this guy's bust. Was Gagarin a criminal? Was he a criminal? Did he do anything to the Ukrainians? So as an individual, you have really nothing to say about this guy. The only thing that you have is that he's Russian. That tells me xenophobia. You take it however you want, or chauvinism. I mean, how do you want to interpret that? And the Ukrainians are trying to run away from their Soviet past. They will not. Ask Mr. Antonov about their Soviet past. And what's strange is that Mr. Antonov was a noblesman, from a family of noblesmen in the Bolshevik military expeditionary group, which was part of the Red Army formed by Mr. Bronstein. which is Trotsky for you. Things are more complicated than these guys are just trying to make it, and these are just a few names, dates, and people that I'm mentioning. It's more than that. But if we are to really talk about things, let's bring things on and live with your good things that you did and bad things that you did, because we all did that. And removing Gagarin, what would, how should I put it, what benefit would that be of Ukrainian children? Will they erase his name? Whenever they're never gonna learn about, I don't know, the Sputnik, or Leica, or whatever her name was, the dog. Leica. About Gagarin. Why? Because they were by the Soviet Union and we were not part of the Soviet Union. Please. And this is so dumb, but it works. Why? Because the audience is dumb. Yes, the audience is dumb, as that guy said. How lucky the politicians are that the masses are dumb. And it's true. You want me to use the other guy, which is, what's his name? Albert Einstein, and you can't hit me with that one. He said at least 99% of the world population would have been A-OK just with a backbone. The brain is something, an extension, unusable. They don't use it. You know what I mean, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And you can attack me with, what's his name? Albert Einstein. Anyway, my friends, this is it. I think that is not okay. Not okay because if you have this mindset in this particular issue, that you can change it to some other subject, and that subject could be you. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.